this meeting in order. If I could ask everyone to make sure the phone is on silent, please, during the meeting. Rise for invocation. Jay, I'll have you do the allegiance after. Lord, we're meeting today to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirits of fairness, right thoughts and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affair may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being our source of guidance today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, Jay, will you do a roll call, please?
Mr. Chairman Conti.
Here.
Chairman Oberlin. Here. Chairman Carnahan.
Here.
Chairman Hennings.
Here.
And Chairman Hassan.
Present.
Vice Chair Duval.
Here.
Chairman Hagan.
Here. Okay, everybody had a chance to review the last minutes. For those that, we got two new members on the board. One is a refreshing member. But for the old members, if you've had a chance to review the minutes. Mr. J did make a small correction on the date, so I can get an approval. Motion.
Motion to approve the minutes for January 7th, 2025.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes, carries it. Okay, moving on to new business, this is public hearing. Where I have a presentation by Bill, and then the members up here will discuss the items. And then before they vote on it, we will open it up for public discussion. You'll have 3 minutes to come forward. Please state your name and address, state your concern over what we're going to discuss tonight. And then we'll, once everybody has made their comments, we will move for a motion on that. So with that, Bill, if you don't mind, introducing the first item.
As always, thank you for coming out tonight. We have 2 items. This is gonna be the same property, same developer, same engineer of record, etc. The first one is a small scale comprehensive plan to change our comprehensive plan, the attachment, the future land use map. Currently, the property, let me show you where the property is so we know what we're looking at. This parcel right here, it does not have an address yet. These lots are cleared, but this one here is not. It is still wooded. It's a wooded lot. There's nothing there. As far as I know, there's never been anything there, even though there is a driveway there for some reason. I'm not sure why the driveway's there. It is currently has a future land use designation of low density residential. The request by Napoleon and his engineer, Mr. Harris, are to change the future land use to high density residential. They do have plans to put in some multifamily, obviously. Mr. Harris shared with me just a minute ago a conceptual drawing of what it may look like. This is preliminary, very conceptual. I've looked at this about as long as y'all have now, so absolutely no review done whatsoever. This is very conceptual. I want to be very clear about that.
Right.
Mr. Harris and Napoleon are here tonight. So if you have any questions, myself and then we will try to answer them as best we can. It is the staff's recommendation that this board convey a recommendation to the city commission for approval.
Okay, I'll open up for discussion. Board members.
Can you go back to that conceptual drawing again? Now, are those apartment blocks or are those homes? Those are down.
Sir, 18. And so there are three fourplexes and one sixplex.
So just for the record, would you identify yourself? I know Bill introduced
Yeah.
you.
Yes, sir. My name is Aaron Harris. I'm a professional engineer. My address is 1030 Southeast 4th Terrace in Cape Coral, Florida. And so I'll be happy to add to that whenever you're ready.
I noticed the 3 lots on the back side of it are high density also, but those are the only high density in there. So this doesn't conform with the master plan, or it does, or what?
So we're talking about the future land use now. Okay, so I'm gonna turn the future land use layer on my map here. This is the property in question here, or that we're talking about tonight. You see all this light yellow is low density residential, and there is some high density residential kind of catty corner from it. Does that answer your question?
Well, you said staff recommends to go ahead and forward with this. I was wondering why staff recommended to go ahead and forward with this, because it's basically a low density residential area.
Yeah, there's no reason to not allow it.
Any others?
Has the sign been up in the neighborhood?
Sorry?
Has the sign been up in the neighborhood
Oh,
showing
The
change?
sign's been up, this was actually slated for a meeting earlier, and if you remember, we had a snow event, so that meeting got canceled, and we made sure that the cancellation was posted and all, so anyone driving by should have been able to see the sign, it's right there, ready for them to read and all.
Did you have any calls from any of the neighbors?
I have not received any calls or visits at all on this, from the sign at all, or our publications that the city clerk's office is required to put out also. They're all directed to me, and I have not had any.
I have one question, are these gonna be owned townhomes or rented townhomes?
Nicole Lindy, she is 4100 Marriott Drive in Panama City Beach, 5408. I'm a retired Navy EOD guy, 24 years, and I've been a resident of Bay County since about 2003. And so now my passion is, when I was a young sailor, I had lived with my grandfather because my wife and I couldn't afford a house. And so these are looking for sale, and I know we got a bunch of airmen coming in, and if they can come in and start a family with something they can afford, and I'm giving back instead of destroying stuff like I did for 24 years. So thank you.
Why townhomes?
But originally we
Why
had
so many in that specific area?
It's actually, it's less of an economic impact on the sewer and the actual infrastructure there. And so it was I guess an easier decision for us to move with just requesting that, if that makes sense. It was less concrete for me. It was, it was financially for me as a retired guy. It was an easier decision for us to be able to manufacture these. If I go with the 7 homes, or I'm sorry, with we originally planned 10 homes and we had to reduce it to 9 because we didn't have enough drainage. And so we had to reduce it down to 9 homes, and at that point, there's actually it's not worth developing the land, that makes sense. And so, I guess in order to kill two birds with one stone, I don't care about making a killing on it, I just want to, I want to at least break it a little bit over even, and I want to provide, someone back for my community. I also own a commercial boat building company, I'm speaking with, Bay County EDA right now about bringing that factory up here to, Bay County. It'll produce 70 to 100 jobs, and that way I can make sure there's no kids going to school hungry from those 70 families. So, I'm really invested in building my community, and with 10,000 airmen and that first fast squadron coming in, I think there's going to be more people than what we can handle, for housing. Did that answer the question?
Yes, it did.
Thank you.
Any other questions before I open it up?
I do assume, because this is if you could go back to that illustration, because, I mean, just by quick looking at it, there's like no place for kids or to like do anything. And I'm sure there would be some sort of retention pond that would need to be. And, I mean, in this area, there's no impact. I mean, those kind of townhomes, they kind of get quite a bit of kind of busy. So I just need to know. I know, Bill, you just saw this too. I just didn't know if there would be really. I feel like that there would be, so it just seems like a lot of units.
We plan on putting a playground in there.
Yes, sir. Okay.
It's a requirement with that size. So.
And with everything else in the future being low density, you guys might be a little. I don't know. We need it. You're bringing up valid points. We do need the housing and things like that. However, we do need to just be mindful of other things as well. So that's all I have to say, Chair.
Thanks.
I'll go also with, if you're going with the military route, we still would generally buy houses when we would go moving from base to base. It was a town, or not when a townhouse, it was a house with neighbors.
Right.
In an area that, still would stay that way.
I totally understand that at today's house prices and what an E3 gets paid, when we were young, we got paid, the house prices were a lot less. And even at that point, the BAH wasn't worth it, it was very tough to, we had to make decisions on how to eat with extra BAH, right? Like, I can squeeze out a little more from my BAH. And so, I want to make sure these kids don't have to deal with that, I know that, it builds, did you ever live in base housing at all?
We did.
Yeah, so you know how the community is there?
That's why we always bought houses outside of the base.
Right, and so that's, I've never lived in base housing outside of Guam, for that exact reason. But when I moved out in the community, I was able to, I was able to promote the Navy, you know what I mean? People saw that it wasn't just on base, my neighbor's Navy, who cares, right? But out in town, now I can promote my service, I can show them that I'm a productive member to my society, right? And so, if I can bring airmen out into town, I don't see how that's a bad thing.
I don't see it's a bad thing, but if you purchase a property for low density, intending to put the houses, you really would love to sell that, in my opinion.
I would love to too, just realistically, on a financial level, I actually lose money per house because of the price of dirt now, because the price of everything, because the price of concrete, like it's through the roof. So how do I help my community the best right now? And this is where I'm at, to be able to do that.
Good. Open up for, yes, ma'am.
Anna Pelletier, 7724 Shadow Bay Drive.
Sure.
less taxing on the drainage to have 18 units rather than 9. And two, just one correction that was not mentioned is this is only 2.06 acres. There's not a requirement for a playground on that size lot. So,
Okay, so the stormwater, we haven't gotten there yet. We have not gotten to the development over stage yet. Mr. Harris will be required to prove that the stormwater works regardless of what they put in there, whether it be houses, apartments, etc. It's gonna have to meet our land development regulations. We will get there in the development order, whatever they do. As far as the playground or the open space element, as a single-family residential, when it is zoned currently right now, it's not big enough to be required to have open space. But whenever they change it to, if they are allowed to change it to multifamily, there's no size minimum or anything. They will be required to do open space. So they're kind of burning a little bit of their land by changing the zoning, because they will be required to do open space.
Thank you for explaining that. Thank you for making that make sense.
So, if these townhomes are gonna be individually owned, how can they have open space for playground or whatever, picnic tables or whatever they put in? Who's gonna take care of those then?
Whoever owns the property.
It's gonna create a big can of worms, in my opinion.
You know, once again, those are all gonna be development order issues that we'll iron out during that time.
Cause like an option would be like that would be under like an HOA or something, right?
It's a possibility.
Right, you know?
Any others from the audience? Yes, ma'am.
Teresa Langston, 6031 Lane Street. I'm gonna try to talk as loud as I can, so hopefully you can hear me. I mean, I just don't even understand about the drainage either, about how 18 townhomes is less taxing than the 9 homes. But I also think that we should keep it single family, since most everything around there is for single family. I don't think that we should put 18 townhomes in the middle of a residential, because I don't really think a lot of people are interested in townhomes like they are single family homes, especially coming in and if you're catering to the military. But I also think that this is more of a financial decision to do this, more of a financial and less of a what's right for our community.
Thank you.
Again, my name is Aaron Harris. I'm the engineer of record, and so I appreciate the opportunity to clarify some of these things with you. First of all, we did spend about 1 year trying to develop this property with single-family lots. We started out with 10 lots, and as Mr. Fry indicated, we ended up reducing it to 9 because we used one of our lots for a detention area, for a stormwater detention area. And we developed a complete set of plans for that: water, sewer, streets, and drainage with 9 lots. And then the developer went through his financial feasibility with the contractor. And so what that indicated was that the project would literally cost him money to build 9 houses out there, given the amount of fill dirt that he would have to bring in to elevate those houses up to a proper elevation and to do all of the infrastructure work at today's prices. Now, you know, again, if we were doing a 200 lot subdivision, what happens is you have the benefit of multiplication, and so you can bring a lot of those prices down. But when you're doing a 9 lot subdivision, it's pretty onerous. So what we did was we went back and looked at that plan, and so to answer the question here, these townhomes are 2-story. So the footprint of the townhome is 20 by 45, which is 900 square feet. The single-family residential houses were 1,500 to 1,800 square feet apiece and one story, with a larger driveway, larger sidewalks, et cetera, et cetera. So what happens with this plan, in contrast to the single-family residential plan, is that this produces more green space and less impervious area by virtue of the fact that it's a two-story unit, not a one-story unit. So there's no smoke and mirrors. It's just that, and so what this does is it creates, as the developer indicated, less fill dirt for us to have to bring in. It creates less foundation or less slab for us to have to put underneath each house. It creates less roof for us to put over each structure. And these are fourplexes with the exception of one which is shown as a sixplex. And so it is very common to build a fourplex configuration of homes with firewalls in between. And those are detached. They are attached units, not detached. And so with a fourplex, what you have is the two lots on the inside have a front yard and a backyard. The two units on the ends have a front, a side, and a back. And even though the plan did not indicate, and that's my problem, I apologize, is we took an entire, if Mr. Fry, if you could pull that plan up, I'd like to just make it crystal clear. We took an entire, on our plan, we're planning on taking an entire lot at the end of the street and doing a dedicated park there. That park will be a privately maintained and owned park by the developer for the children in that community. Now, if the powers that be decided that it needed to be a public park, I don't think it's going to be a public street. So if we decided to do, the city wanted that for a public park, I don't think the developer would be opposed to that either. But that's what that lot at the end of the cul-de-sac is. That's a play lot park that would be built with equipment, walking, trails, etc. So that plan right there is less impervious than the plan that we started with. And it does make financial sense by virtue of the fact that the developer gets 18 units and not 9. But it's less taxing on the drainage. And so it's basically the same water, the same sewer, by virtue of the fact that it's 18 units, it's twice as many cars, okay? It's, if there were one car per unit, it would be 18 cars a day and not 9. If there are 2 cars a unit, you can figure that out. So anyway, just being totally, transparent, those are the pluses and the minuses, but we couldn't make 2 acres work financially with 9 lots. We tried for a year. And so this was the plan B that we came up with. We'd appreciate very much if you'd consider all those things, and I'm happy to answer any of the questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am?
Renee Major, 726 Buddy Drive, with a 4-plex and a 6-plex and another 4-plex and another 4-plex. I don't know, I've lived in base housing before, and it looks like base housing to me, of these plexes. So it might as well be base housing.
I'll do this. I'd like to thank you guys all for the concerns, if I can address them on the financial aspect. As I actually told my team today, I grew up a poor farm kid with nothing. My first new clothes when I joined the Navy, and then they charged me for them. And so I joined the Navy, I became an EOD guy, and I had destroyed stuff for 24 years. And I decided that when I retired, I would build my community back instead of destroying them for as long as I did. And so my dedication is to build my community. I love Bay County. It's been my home for over 20 years now. My children live here. They graduated from high school here. I have another 4 kids here, and so, I am dedicated to building my team, my community and bringing in business and jobs, and our airmen deserve a place to stay. And, when you go and look at D.R. Horton down, on the way to Port St. Joe, they're building nothing but townhomes down there. And it's not base housing, it's what people are buying now, and that's where the market's going, and so it's not, I have to make a little bit of money. If someone asks you to do your job and to pay them to do it, you wouldn't do your job. You have to be able to afford it. I'm not trying to make anything more than what's fair for the price, but I can't develop it for, and lose money on it. That's, no one would do that. Thank you very much.
I see no others. Okay, any motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve the small scale comprehensive plan amendment for 1200 block of South Catherine.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Board Member Hassan?
Yes.
Board Member Carnahan?
No.
Board Member Hennings?
Yes.
Board Member Oberway?
No.
Board Member Conti?
Yay.
Vice Chair Dougal?
Yes.
And Chairman Hagan?
Yes. Motion carried. This is item number 2, rezoning application.
Yes, sir. It's the same property, same people, same questions. But we have to go over again because this is our local zoning map. And they're requesting that it be rezoned from single family R6M, which allows mobile homes, to residential multifamily medium density.
Questions from the board?
No mobile homes, right? That doesn't,
Today, they would be allowed to put mobile homes in there.
okay. No, yes, sir, but with the change.
Okay, with the change, mobile homes will not be allowed.
Yes, sir, that's, I was clear.
Any other questions from the board before I open it up? Okay, you open it up to the public comments. Anyone in the public have a comment on the rezoning?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to just add, because we didn't get a chance to talk about this, but these townhomes also have an enclosed garage. So, with all homes, you have lots of different configurations. You have open carports, you have no carports, in street side parking, where people park out in front of their units. You have enclosed garages. These particular units, you can see they have a driveway, but a 20-foot unit would have a single car, one enclosed garage. These would be very, very nice, nicely appointed and designed buildings, and aesthetically pleasing to look at. I just wanted to make that clear. Thank you.
Thank you. And I do want to also add that, with their comment about D.R. Horton and what they're building, and as a real estate agent, I do want to say that it's not a trend, and to be honest with you, it's not what people want. Unfortunately, we find ourselves in the market of inflation, and you already articulated the difficulty that you were having bringing the prices down. So we find ourselves having to make smaller units to sell to people because to make them more affordable. I think the sentiment is right that I don't really want townhomes. However, there is a demand, but it's not what people want. It's what they find themselves finding because it's due to affordability. So thank you for everything that you did as it relates to you. It honestly does sound like you tried your best. And with today's market and just with everything that's going on, taking into consideration, I do appreciate what you guys, as it relates to spending time with the drainage and stuff. And one of the big reasons why I passed it is because I know Bill makes sure those things everything's going to get taken care of. But I was very impressed with the special dedicated playground that you guys were provide, so thank you very much for that.
And to add to that, my boat company puts 10% of all our proceeds into the Award Foundation, the Navy Special Operations Foundation. And so if I could, I'd like to actually dedicate that park to someone and let our foundation take care of that park. And so maybe if there's a hero from the city of Callaway that we could dedicate it to, a military, somebody who was KIA, WIA or something like that, or even a descendant of that we could dedicate it to, and then that way my memorial, my foundation can support that park.
All right, thank you. Any other board member? Hear a motion?
I'll make a motion, we accept the rezoning application for 1200 block of South Catherine Avenue.
I second.
Jay, roll call, please.
Mr. Board Member Hennings,
Yes.
Board Member Overway,
No.
Board Member Conti,
Yes.
Board Member Hassan,
Yes.
Board Member Carnahan,
No,
Vice Chair Dugel,
Yes.
and Chairman Hagan.
Yes.